At the beginning of the story, we see some fairies having fun. They've come down to Earth to celebrate their first summer with their friends. A fairy named Terence asks his friend Tinkerbell, "Are you ready to celebrate your first summer on Earth?" Tinkerbell replies, "Everything on Earth is so beautiful. I can't believe how lovely the weather is." All the fairies travel through a magical cable. Terence tells Tinkerbell, "Let me show you around Earth, but remember, we must stay hidden from humans." Tinkerbell is amazed by everything she sees and happily goes to the other fairies, asking, "Can I help you with anything?" But they politely decline her help. Terence tells her, "I have to go show magic to some other fairies now. I'll see you in a few days," and leaves. Tinkerbell starts to head outside. Vidya, another fairy, stops her and asks, "Were you heading toward a human house?" Tinkerbell lies and says, "I didn't know humans lived here." Everyone is surprised and cautious. "Wait, are those really human homes? We need to stay away from them." Vidya warns, "A storm could be coming." Tinkerbell replies, "But the weather is so nice and clear today. You really think there'll be a storm?" Just then, a leaf blows past one of the fairies and leaves a colorful stain on her wings. Suddenly, a magical phone rings, a signal all fairies recognize as a warning. It means a human is coming. Tinkerbell climbs to the top of a tree to get a better look at the humans. From there, she sees a girl named Lizzy arriving with her date in the car. Curious, Tinkerbell follows them. Lizzy had come home to spend her summer vacation and was excited to be back. She told her dad how she wished this time could last all year. Tinkerbell was fascinated by the car and crawled underneath it to take a closer look. Vidya arrives and sees Tinkerbell. She asks, "What are you doing here?" Tinkerbell excitedly replies, "This is a car. It moves on its own. It's not pulled by horses." She starts explaining how it works. Vidya warns her, "You shouldn't be this close to human houses. It's dangerous for us." While exploring, Tinkerbell accidentally presses a flower-shaped button on the car, which splashes water on Vidya, making her wet. Meanwhile, Lizzy and her dad return to grab some of their things. Lizzy spots a butterfly, the same one that flew from Fawn's hand earlier. She holds it and wonders what species it is. Her date says, "Its wings are two different colors, so I can't really tell." Lizzy guesses, "Maybe the fairies colored it this way." Her dad laughs and replies, "Fairies aren't real. They're just a fantasy." They head inside the house. Lizzy asks him to go out walking, but he says, "I have to leave tonight. I got a call from my field commander last night. I'm heading out before you go to bed." Later, Vidya tells Tinkerbell, "You'll have to walk now. I'm too wet to fly, but I'll walk with you." They head out together. Before leaving, Lizzy builds a small house for the fairies. Tinkerbell is touched by the gesture and talks to Vidya about the car again. Vidya is clearly annoyed and tells her to stop messing with things, but Tinkerbell sees some buttons inside and says, "I'll take these back with me." Vidya throws the buttons away in frustration. Just then, they notice the small house Lizzy built. Tinkerbell approaches it and tells Vidya, "Look, the sign says Welcome Fairies." Vidya replies, "That was written by humans. You shouldn't go inside." Tinkerbell ignores her warning and enters the house anyway. To scare her, Vidya slams the door shut, but Tinkerbell doesn't flinch. Later, Lizzy arrives. Vidya tells Tinkerbell, "Someone's coming," and tries to open the gate, but it's stuck and won't budge. Vidya quickly flies away to hide. Tinkerbell starts to panic and tries to open the gate herself, but it still won't open. Lizzy opens the gate and walks inside the house. She spots a fairy inside and is overjoyed to see her. Lizzy wants to tell her dad about the fairy. Vidya quietly follows behind Lizzy. Lizzy shows her dad the fairy, but he's too busy to pay attention. He simply thinks it's a butterfly Lizzy caught. Feeling disappointed, Lizzy leaves without saying anything more about the fairy. Back in her room, Lizzy gently takes Tinkerbell out. Tinkerbell tries to escape, but the window is closed and she can't get out. Lizzy's cat notices Tinkerbell and tries to attack her. Lizzy saves Tinkerbell just in time and then places her inside a small cage before walking away. Tinkerbell tries to open the cage door but fails. Meanwhile, Vidya returns to the fairy camp and informs everyone Tinkerbell has been captured by humans. The other fairies are shocked and ask how it happened. Vidya explains Tinkerbell went inside a little house, and the gate locked behind her. A human found her and took her away. But I know where she is. We have to rescue her. Rosetta asks, shall we all go help save Tinkerbell? Everyone agrees to join the rescue mission, but heavy rain starts to pour, and it becomes difficult for them to proceed. One fairy asks, when will the rain stop? Another replies, it's going to rain for a while. Fawn says, we can't fly in this rain, and the field is already too wet. We need to find another way. Clank suggests, what if we use 2 big leaves and seal them with sticks? We can build a boat to reach the human. Everyone gathers materials together and builds a boat. The next day, Tinkerbell tries to open the door of the cage. Just then, Lizzy comes over. Seeing her, Tinkerbell gets scared. Lizzy gently praises her and says, you must be hungry, and offers her a piece of food. But Tinkerbell doesn't eat. Lizzy opens the cage and lets Tinkerbell out. Tinkerbell immediately flies around trying to escape, but can't get out because the window is closed. Lizzy says, please don't be scared. I won't hurt you. I love you. I even drew lots of pictures of you. She shows Tinkerbell some drawings of fairies she made when she was younger. Lizzy asks if fairies paint butterfly wings. Tinkerbell nods to explain that they do. Lizzy gets excited and starts asking more questions. Tinkerbell tries to answer, but Lizzy can't hear her. All she hears is a jingling sound, like a tiny bell. Lizzy then shows her the fairy house she built. Tinkerbell gestures to ask if Lizzy made it herself. Lizzy says yes, and asks the fairy her name. Tinkerbell uses gestures to introduce herself. Lizzy is overjoyed and reaches out for a handshake. Suddenly, Lizzy's father enters the room and asks who she's talking to. Lizzy quickly says she was just talking to her drawings. Her dad smiles and tells her, I have some old journals. I think you'll enjoy reading them. Lizzy asks if the journals are about fairies. Her dad replies, they're about research in fairies, but remember, writing about fairies doesn't make them real. They're just imagination. He hands Lizzy a blank journal and says, you can write your own fairy research here. Then he leaves. Tinkerbell tells Lizzy through gestures, I like your collection, but I have to go now. Lizzy looks sad and opens a window for her, but it's raining heavily, so Tinkerbell doesn't leave. Lizzy smiles and says, why don't you stay with me until the rain stops? I will show you my room. All the fairies gather materials and build a boat to rescue Tinkerbell. On their way, they see a car. Vidya says, I've seen this car before, so we must be heading in the right direction. Meanwhile, Tinkerbell explores the tiny house Lizzy built for her, checking out everything inside. Lizzy says, I made everything fairy-sized for you. She tells Tinkerbell, I want to know everything about your real life, and asks how fairies come to be. Tinkerbell explains that when a baby laughs for the first time, a fairy is born, and she shares more about her world. Lizzy writes it all down in the diary her dad gave her. Back with the fairies, Vidya falls and realizes they are on the right path leading straight to the human house. Fawn notices a boat heading toward a large waterfall and warns everyone. The fairies panic and try to steer the boat away, but it begins to fall. So Vermist uses her powers to save them. Then Clank finds a car button, helping Vidya figure out the right direction. Meanwhile, Lizzy tells Tinkerbell, the rain has stopped. You should go. She gives Tinkerbell a paper umbrella to keep her dry. Lizzy feels sad that Tinkerbell is leaving. Tinkerbell hugs her and flies away. Lizzy goes to show her dad the fairy diary, but he's too busy fixing a leak in the house to pay attention. Lizzy walks away, disappointed, and cries in her room while looking at the diary. Suddenly, Tinkerbell returns, and Lizzy is overjoyed. Lizzy tells Tinkerbell that her dad never has time for her because of work. Meanwhile, the fairies struggle through the muddy ground. Vidya gets stuck, and as the others try to help, a car approaches. To stop it, they shine light into the driver's eyes, causing him to stop and get out. Fawn grabs his shoelace, telling everyone to hold on. When the driver walks again, The fairies get pulled out of the mud thanks to the lace. Later, Lizzy and Tinkerbell have tea together, and Lizzy falls asleep. Tinkerbell finds a hose and connects all the leaks, letting the rainwater drain outside. She finds a lily bottle, pours it out, and wakes Lizzy. Lizzy's dad comes and says, "It's raining outside, but there are no leaks. How's that possible?" Lizzy realizes Tinkerbell fixed everything so her dad could spend time with her. However, Lizzy sends her dad out of the room. Tinkerbell asks, "Weren't you going to show your dad the diary?" Lizzy listens and goes to him. Her dad is angry and says, "There was a butterfly in the jar. Where is it? I needed it for the museum." He assumes Lizzy released it and sends her to her room. Meanwhile, the fairies joke about how anyone could even catch Tinkerbell. Vidya admits, "It's my fault. I locked the door to teach her a lesson, but she got trapped instead." The other fairies say, if you hadn't been with her, she could have been in even more trouble. Now let's go save her. Lang climbs a rock with his companion. From there, he spots a human house and gets very excited. Meanwhile, Lizzy tells Tinkerbell that she tries to explain things to her father, but he doesn't believe her. Looking at her diary, she says, "I wish I could fly like you. Then I could also take care of flowers like you do." Tinkerbell brings some fairy dust and sprinkles it on Lizzy, making her float in the air. Lizzy enjoys flying and quickly learns how to do it. At the same time, all the fairies enter the house. Vidya says, "There's a little girl who trapped Tinkerbell in a cage, and there's a big human in the house who doesn't like fairies and tries to capture them. But the biggest threat is a cat that lives here." Hearing the word cat, all the fairies get scared. Inside the room, the cat sees the fairies and starts chasing them. It almost catches Clank, but he falls onto some plates, spreading dust everywhere. The plates rise into the air due to the magic, and the fairies sit on them and float away. The cat jumps on the plates too and starts attacking the fairies. The loud noises draw Dr. Griffiths into the room. Seeing the mess, he says, "It looks like a storm hit this place. And how did your footprints end up on the walls?" He demands Lizzy tell him the truth. Lizzy pleads, "Won't you believe me? I was flying in the air with the help of a fairy." Dr. Griffiths gets angry and says, "Fairies are imaginary. You've been talking nonsense." Lizzy tries to explain and shows him her diary. Dr. Griffiths snaps, "I gave you that diary to write facts about the real world, not to fill it with fairy tales." He starts tearing down all the fairy pictures from Lizzy's room. Tinkerbell, seeing this, gets very angry and confronts Dr. Griffiths. He gets scared upon seeing her. Lizzy tells him not to be afraid, that Tinkerbell won't harm him. Just as Dr. Griffiths is about to trap Tinkerbell in the bottle, Vidya arrives and pushes her out of the way, getting trapped in the bottle herself. Lizzy pleads with her dad to let her out, but he says he's taking the fairy to the museum and leaves. Lizzy tells Tinkerbell, "Dad is taking a fairy Vidya to the museum. We have to stop him." The rest of the fairies arrive riding on the cat. Seeing this, Tinkerbell says, "We have to save her. It's still raining, making it hard to go outside." Ink says she can take Lizzy to town. The fairies sprinkle fairy dust on Lizzy, and she begins flying again, leading the fairies toward the town. Ink spots Dr. Griffiths' car and follows it, trying to stop it, and she succeeds. But unfortunately, the car has already reached the museum. Lizzy tries to stop her dad from going inside. He's surprised and delighted to see her. He hugs Lizzy and releases Vidya from the bottle. All the fairies sprinkle fairy dust on Dr. Griffiths, and he starts flying too. He laughs and plays in the air with Lizzy. The next day, all the fairies enjoy tea with Lizzy and her dad. Dr. Griffiths reads aloud the story Lizzy wrote. Terence also joins them, and that's where the story ends.